r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. Serious, Iranians of Reddit. How do you feel about the attack that killed Qasem Soleimani? Fun fact: we can't express ourselves even in here because there might be consequences and who knows who's watching. So yeah. Have you tried a VPN? Almost all VPNs in Iran are actually secretly sold by a branch of government. They make money by controlling all you do on the internet. That's a big ducking problem. A bit of a sore victory. My family is glad he's dead as he's the one behind the scenes giving orders to shoot over 1,500 protesters in the last month. We are glad this evil duck is dead, but sad that innocent civilians have to suffer what comes next. Not really sure how to feel at this point. We just want what was stolen from us when the CIA removed our first democratically elected official for the Shah. Democracy in Iran. Yeah. Iran has so much potential. If only it wasn't stuck under an authoritarian theocracy. Don't care about the guy. Worried about the war. It's ducked up. I have family in Israel. Iran won't strike the US. They will strike Israel through proxy militias in Lebanon, Syria and the PA in retaliation. Which means more Israeli airstrikes against Iranian targets in Lebanon, Syria and Palestinian Authority. And those people are just innocent bystanders of the US versus Iran conflict. I understand that Israel needs to stem the tide of Iranian hardware reaching the hands of Hezbollah. During the 80s and 90s they were regularly using Katyusha and mortars to shell northern Israel as well as fueling Islamic Jihad and Hamas rocket attacks in Israel. But the people who end up getting bombed are not the ones who deserve it. They are usually just puppets of a bigger scene. Obviously the bystanders and civilians in Israel and Lebanon don't deserve it. But the civilians in Iran and the US don't deserve it either. Hell. Even the soldiers on both sides don't deserve it. It's just the folks at the top. To quote MASH. Hawkeye. War isn't hell. War is war. And hell is hell. And of the two, war is a lot worse. Father Milkahi. How do you figure that? Hawkeye? Hawkeye. Easy. Father. Tell me. Who goes to hell? Father Milkahi. Sinners. I believe. Hawkeye. Exactly. There are no innocent bystanders in hell. War is chock full of them. Little kids. Cripples. Old ladies. In fact. Except for some of the brass. Almost everybody involved is an innocent bystander. Well, damn pretty insightful. Eye-opening to the kids, I'd say. North Korea might get suspicious that the US is going to do the same thing now. One tweet I saw read, "You know who is shitting their pants right now? Kim Jong-un. People living in Seoul should be shitting their pants. If anyone. You strike NK. They will strike back and have enough conventional artillery pointed at Seoul to destroy it and send heavy ripples through a global market. Not gonna happen. I live in Iran and I am happy. Here in my country the media is saying he was a national hero and the whole country is in mourning. That's called propaganda. No, he wasn't. He gained a lot of wealth, more than $billions, being in power in this dictatorship regime. His profession was terrorism and he killed many in Iran. 2. Majority of Iranian people hate him. He had nothing but plight for the nation. It's great and bad at the same time. It's good because it's a chance for the Iranian regime to change and majority of all Iranians want that. They want the mullahs out of the country. They are literally destroying the country into pieces and they know it. It's bad because a war of some sort will erupt. No doubt about it. If it occurs near the end of the Trump presidency, he will get re-elected to continue the war. And it's also bad because people are going to die, which sucks. Personally, I'm happy because I really want the regime to change. I don't want people to die, but with any war, you can't get around that. Was there already another war with Iran before that? Iran has had 2 coups and a war with Iraq since the 50s. Before that they were a secular democracy. US-backed coup. BTW. Because they wanted to instate their own puppet despot. Iranian British here, and honestly, most people don't give a duck he died. We are pleased. PPLS are dancing and chanting thank God for it because he was the head of oppression in Iran. Over in Canada, The media is showing a massive protest in Iran supporting Soleimani and burning US flags. Media must have an agenda. Media must have an agenda. Shocked Pikachu JPG. As an Iranian, I'm super happy. Soleimani was a terrorist. Yo, I knew he got killed for a reason. I get that people have little trust in the US military nowadays, but geez, they're not as trigger happy as some people believe. It's silly to me when people dislike the US military instead of directing that negativity towards the US government. It's not like the military gets to decide to be involved in wars and shit. That decision making is done by the executive and legislative branches of government. If people don't like that the US military is killing people abroad, they need to hold the White House and Congress accountable, not the military and intelligence community. Sure, there are cases of war crimes and such when direct actors in the military overstep humane bounds. But that's not my point. My point is those crimes don't occur if the military isn't authorized to operate in that region country at all in the first place. Which is a decision that can be made by the aforementioned government entities. Don't blame the military for being effective at its function. Blame the government for defining the scope of this function poorly. I think the people's distrust is on United States itself, not particular branch. Same shit, different decade with different presidents. I'm so ducking happy. But if you want an estimation, I would say 3/4 of people are happy or at least don't care, but 1/4 of people are really sad. Would you say that the 1/4 of people who are really sad are overrepresented in the higher levels of the government military? American living in Iran here. I love the fact that this puts some fear in the regime that has killed, tortured and jailed so many Iranians. I'm pretty sure none of the upper echelon of Iranian government got any sleep last night for a change. Iran has no budget left for starting a war they can take like leeches to fuel their children abroad living lavish lifestyles or making unnecessary conflicts in the region to isolate Iran from other countries while spreading their plague of fake Islam. I do hope the US has strategies for dealing with Iran even further, because they will definitely try to stir something in the region. Haven't the embassy told you guys to get the duck out of their mayo? Well, since there is no US embassy in Iran, just a small branch of the Swiss embassy for consulate affairs. No, I haven't been told to get faux yet, but I'm pretty sure they will send the email soon. I don't have the means to get back to the US anyways. When the economy crashed, my dad's business got drowned in debt, and I'm a college graduate with a bachelor's in civil engineering who can't find a job doing anything. A plane ticket to the nearest American city costs about a year's salary working anywhere decent. Yo, I just realized my mistake. They told US citizens to get out of Iraq, not Iran. Hope you stay safe regardless. A lot of innocent people are going to pay heavy prices over this. Franz Ferdinand's death was painful for a lot of other people. How many innocent people paid heavy prices for him living, I wonder? No one cares because virtually nobody on Reddit can think in terms of comparing alternatives. It's only, is this thing good or bad? Pebble. I'm Iranian and also a Muslim, but it doesn't mean that I'm a terrorist or a bad person. Trust me, not a single soul of our country wants this war. But our leaders are just so dumb that they don't understand how this will end. If this war happens, there will be catastrophic effects to all the countries in it. We tried to get rid of some of the stupid people in our government, but the moment we do something, they just start a killing spree and kill everything, I mean IT, in their way. If you want to help, don't kill innocent people. Help us to get rid of these people. An Iranian friend of mine, living in US, had this to say. He was an evil man. But this will not make things better, as it will bring war to the region. I am so worried about my family. Concerned for both us and American citizens, not America's government. Since we're just puppets in the hands of our current governments. Sadly, if anything happens because of today's events, a stupid war for example, we are the ones who will suffer the most for it. I just hope no one is stupid enough to punch first. Right. We're not our governments. It's all sad. It just ends in people killing people they don't even know. Leaders from every country should be forced to eat meals, dance, and watch Pixar movies together. It's Iran. You don't know what actually happened despite of the stories on the news. I just hope his death won't affect our already fragile country in any way. Good. A-hole deserved it for killing thousands. I feel very good about it and maybe it can happen again soon. I hope next one will be Khamenei. I'm glad we got another terrorist, but I'm sad and angry because my brother is supposed to come home in February. So who knows? His tour could be extended. He could come home for 2 months and be asked to go back out. Or, knowing him, he'll volunteer to go out to Israel. That frightens me because he's so young and has so much potential. I'd see it was self-defense, sad as it may be, that's the truth. Throwaway account here because I try to be entirely apolitical on Reddit, but this is an exception. Takeaway: I'm an Iranian based abroad with no positive feelings towards the regime. They asset stripped my family 40 years ago post-revolution, so in short, screw them. However, Iran, like America, will naturally have its tentacles extended into its geographical sphere of influence. It's a country's foreign policy, it's natural. By definition, this makes American foreign policy one full of backing terrorist groups. He was an extension of Iranian foreign policy and making sure nearby countries are pro-Iran. It's a complete violation of international law. Is America above the law it is meant to impose? Can it kill anyone on its target list? What happened to international coordination? Where does the line get drawn? Surely this sort of an attack means anything goes, no? For all of the Iranian military's adverse issues, this guy is one of the main reasons ISIS is now out of Syria and Iraq. People tend to forget that Iran was a big player in driving ISIS out and that the US-Iran were technically fighting the same enemy briefly. I respected him and admired the level of respect he had across Iranian society and Iran, even from people that were firmly against the regime in country. I agree. I think most Iranians want regime change, but under their conditions, not the US. The whole reason they are in this situation is because of Western-backed regime change that gave the Shah power. In their proxy revolution they supported his right-wing and religious fundamentalism, fascism, because it would benefit them in oil trade. Of course, when the Shah was ousted, a power grab ensued between fundamentalist Muslims and socialist left-wing Iranians. The fundamentalists were able to gain power and the Iraq-Iran war helped establish their power. A war in which the US supported Iran's fundamentalist against Iraq's Soviet-backed leader Saddam. You have it backwards. The US supported Saddam in the Iran-Iraq war. I never knew how many ducking generals and international diplomats browsed Reddit. Iranian here. Honestly, most of us hated him. But we're afraid of the possible consequences that this attack might have. No one actually cares about Qasem, all we care about is the consequences. Qasem Soleimani was a terrorist who killed thousands and was planning terrorist attacks on foreign soil. And most memes, celebrities and political figures claiming that Trump was the aggressor is wrong. I just want to browse memes on Reddit and not see a meme about why between my country and America. Seems like I can't do that today. This whole thing, it's funny. Because the Iranians are really happy about this. But white American and British college students know better, see, because they had a class in policy. Lol Reddit. Typical Reddit. Hi Iranian here, these can go two ways. One, Iran will take revenge because of it and that will make the terrible situation in Middle East even worse. If Iran attacks US air directly, things will go bad real soon, or maybe even a word war will start. But if Iran attack us indirectly, like a proxy war or STH, it may not be as bad too. Iran will clamp down, which will probably not happen, and things will calm down as well. Peace. Some people here are sad and some of them are not, so it's not like everyone is happy or sad, but everyone is definitely worried about the whole thing. I remember that back when ISIS was in its peak, me and a lot of other Iranians were really terrified about ISIS invading Iran. But now around 5 or 6 years later, ISIS is more or less gone. Soleimani played a big part in removing ISIS from Iraq. He wasn't the kind of general that would yell in front of a microphone saying how evil America is. In fact, he was pretty quiet. Many people think that Iran wanted to increase its influence in Iraq, which is probably true. But all in all, losing a competent general surely isn't a good thing for a nation. He wasn't the kind of general that would yell in front of a microphone saying how evil America is. In fact, he was pretty quiet. Actions speak louder than words. Was he or was he not the leader of the same PMF that attacked a US embassy on Tuesday? Ducking like and subscribe.